Now I would like to give the floor for His Excellency, Dr. Getahun Mekuria, the Minister of Science and Technology from Ethiopia. Your Excellency.
Your Royal Highness, Princess Dr. El Shamai, Honorable Minister Dr. Helena Dali, let me start by congratulating you for a very successful and well-taught conference of the third International Day of Women and Girls in Science. I'm very much impressed by the events and agendas and points raised yesterday and today on issues of bringing the large majority of humanity, that's women and girls, into the arena of science and technology. And as a Minister for Science and Technology of my country, it's one of the best, one of the closest agenda to my heart, and I'm very much honored to be part of this event, and very much honored to represent my country, Ethiopia, in this very important event. Let me start with some conclusive remarks, and through those conclusive remarks, I would share the experience of my country. This agenda of bringing women and girls into science and technology, I very much believe, and we in Ethiopia, the government very much believe, that this agenda should be led by government. Not only leading, but also governments should own this agenda of ensuring the appropriate placement of our mothers and sisters into the field of science and technology. Let me give you some examples of what we are doing in Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, there is what we call the Council of Science, Technology and Innovation, and this council is being led by His Excellency, our Prime Minister. So the issue of science, technology and innovation in Ethiopia is critically important and is one of the highest agenda of our government. That's why our Prime Minister leads the Science, Technology and Innovation Council of Ethiopia. That means that higher bodies, higher officials, government leaders, presidents, prime ministers, if they lead the council and the body deciding on science, technology and innovation, it means that government gives the highest priority when it comes to science, technology, and innovation. One of the policies of Ethiopia that really has started to bear fruit, which I will come to explain at a later stage, is what we call the 70-30 policy in Ethiopia. For the last more than a decade, the 70-30 policy stands for 70% of Ethiopian university students go in the area of science and technology. And 30% of all Ethiopian university students and colleges and TVETs, 30% of them go to the social sciences, humanities and language studies, whereas 70% of them go in the direction of science and technology. Why I'm raising this question, or this point? So when we say girls, women and girls in science, there must be some catchment area. The policy framework and the strategy framework of the country itself very much determines whether our agenda of girls and women in science would be successful or not. So in Ethiopia, the policy of science and the technology itself is very sound and very strong. That means that the human resource development in science and technology is very strong. That means that when we talk about the agenda of girls and women in science and technology, then it is the best environment we are creating at the level of policy and strategies. So with this 70-30 policy, 70% of all Ethiopian university going to going to universities are in the areas of science and technology. There is another resolution also which ensures 30% of all engineering and technology students are female students in universities. So yes, compared with other countries, 30% is not that big, but it shows the determination of the government to ensure that at least 30% of university students in the area of engineering and technology are female. In some science areas like health sciences, the number is very much bigger, more than 42% are female students. So the other point I want to explain here is we in Ethiopia also give a very strong support to what we call SWIST. SWIST stands for Society of Women in Science and Technology, which is a society of researchers and university professors in the area of science and technology. So this SWIST, the Society of Women in Science and Technology, through this society we encourage women researchers. We give them trainings, we always organize them. As much as possible, we encourage female researchers in the area of science and technology. One of the challenges we face as we go into this, as we implement this policy, is that still the number of researchers in area of science and technology is yet to be strengthened. So through this society, we encourage scientists, female scientists, and professors to do researches and also to be able to contribute in the area of science and technology. One other intervention we do at government level is to set aside research funds exclusively for female researchers and female scientists. So in Ethiopia currently we have different research institutes, especially our research institutes in agriculture and health areas is relatively stronger. So every year government is providing up to 200,000 USD per project and up to 20 projects per year in the area of science and technology, and also in areas of research that directly contribute to economy and social affairs of the country. So this research fund, the female scientists are, we put aside a minimum of 20% of this research exclusively for female scientists and researchers. So in addition to their freedom to compete for the remaining 80% with their male colleagues, so in addition to that one, we provide exclusively 20% of Ethiopian research funds to female scientists. The other intervention we are doing, as we witnessed today, when it comes to science for girls and women, the best time to start intervention is as early as possible. So that means that in the general education, high schools and elementary schools, there are what we call science clubs that encourage talented, innovative, young boys and girls as such. So through these early interventions at high schools and elementary schools, government tries to bring up the understanding and the knowledge of science and technology to all Ethiopian youngs and boys. So the issue of science, the issue of girls and women in science is we directly connect to our economic growth. As I said earlier, the economic development of Ethiopia is very much determined by the population of scientists and engineers we have, and also the number of graduates, the proportion of graduates in the area of science and technology. That's why government has decided that 70% of graduates from universities, Ethiopian universities and tertiary education should be in the area of science and technology. Additionally, we also believe that the sustainability and continuation of our economic growth is very much linked to the proportion of female scientists and engineers we have in the market and in the economy. So I'm very much honored to witness what has been discussed and deliberated these 2 days, but to summarize the intervention of government and the decision and policy and strategy of governments in the area of science and technology is the most important and a critical point to make successful the agenda of women and girls in science and technology. Your Royal Highness, I'm very much thankful for inviting Ethiopia into this event, and thank you very much, Your Royal Highness.